Yeah. And bizarre analogy, but I used to go to these things that were called landscape lectures. So these landscape lectures, they have where it's people talking about how do you design parks. And one woman was giving this presentation and she talked about the thing that you want people to go to. Let's say it's a gazebo on the north end of the park, right? Beautiful gazebo. You want people to start at the south end, go to the north end. If you have a pathway that goes straight from the south to the north to the gazebo, you can see the entire thing. People will not walk on it. People will not reach the gazebo. And then if you actually do surveys of the people who go to the park, because they do this research, people will think they went to the gazebo, even though they didn't go there. Because they're like, oh, I saw it. I know what it'll be like up there. So people create the imagination that they did the thing. For writers, I feel like sometimes I've noticed people think they reached the gazebo. Like people think like, oh, I've executed this plan. And it's like, I followed exactly what you told me to do. And then you read the writing and it's like bland. There's no surprises. People haven't like done the work of finding the thing that's interesting along the way. And I think that sometimes it's like, if you're giving people these totally thought out plans, all the words they need to write for, the topics they need to have, the interviews they need to do necessarily, and the writers aren't owning what makes this interesting. The writers are not necessarily approaching it like journalists in that they're trying to find the like niche of the story or like the really particular hook that draws people in. They're just trying to like execute on like, this is what we need to get out there. They think that they're producing that great end product, but they're not quite making it. And I think that causes a lot of frustration is when somebody else comes in and says, this isn't that good. And they're like, oh, but like it has the words, it's the length, it's on the topic. And you're like, but that's not what we want. We want something that's like, has a more journalistic look, has something unique, is something worth reading about, is interesting to work on. And I think that's the part that can be painful, right? For writers is one, it can be boring to just always follow these really, really prescribed plans. And two, I think people can think that they've achieved it when they haven't really found the main thing that you want, which is like a good hook, a good way to draw people in, something interesting, something unique they haven't seen before. And I just think that part, I think that's why a lot of the new kind of like new direction of marketing, new direction of amplifying, new direction of using more journalistic tendencies towards like writing B2B content is just more fun. And it's like actually delivering a product that more people will want to read, more people will want to listen to or watch or engage with.